This morning on the Channel, the UK's Border Force drone hums overhead, picks out a dinghy, engine dead, 15 men on board. A second boat in the distance looks like it's carrying a couple of teenagers, among others. So it's just gone 6 o'clock in the morning, and any unaccompanied minors found on dinghies from this point on will not be taken into the care of Kent Social Services because they've reached capacity. So far this year, around 5,000 people have crossed the Channel on small boats. About 100 people arrived today. As the Border Force rescue boat arrives on the scene, we start to return to port. So the way this works is the drone goes up first. The drone is able to identify numbers on board and, crucially, who is on board. The seeker is making its way to it. We can assume by that that there are large numbers on board and possibly women and children. That's why the seeker has prioritised this particular boat. So we will move, let the search and rescue operation happen, let the Border Force do their job. Back at port, what we saw through the binoculars comes into sharper focus. One of the boats we saw at sea was indeed carrying people who looked like teenagers with no obvious family members with them. This year alone, Kent Social Services have taken around 300 unaccompanied minors into care who've arrived in this way. Their social workers now working with double the average caseload of children. Kent is threatening to challenge the Home Office in court to try to make other councils take a fairer quota of asylum-seeking children. Is the bottom line here, Alex, that as and from 6 a.m. this morning, the children coming in are more likely to be less safe and less cared for?
I would hope ultimately, if local authorities step forward to take responsibility for them and give them placements, then no. But the longer that takes, potentially yes.
Does the 6 a.m. deadline only apply to children that arrive in small boats, as opposed to children born in Kent?
It's a decision solely for unaccompanied asylum-seeking children.
So no child born in Kent will be any worse off if they need to go into care from 6 a.m. this morning?
Correct.
The teenagers we saw arrive today will be taken to the Kent intake unit here at Dover Port. As of today, instead of being seen by Kent social workers, they'll be seen by Home Office staff who will try to place them around the country. The Home Office said today that they'll try to keep stays here to as short a time as possible, and that they've made an extra £20 million available to encourage councils to take extra children under the voluntary transfer scheme.
The time I needed help, they were there. The time I couldn't sleep at night, they beside me.
Gramalam Jikasa from Eritrea arrived alone on a boat at 14. Kent Social Services placed him with foster parents Teresa and Stuart. They cared for him so well that initially he thought everyone in Britain was just like them.
They always teach me the good thing, not to be facing with the bad people, you know? I don't believe there is racists in the country because of them. They just say it to me.
Sorry, you don't believe there are racists in this country because they were your first experience of British people and English
people. They just like touch me how good they are, and obviously they did tell me like you could meet bad people as well, but more than the bad people, there is a good people.
People like us.
So like them. So, and I always say to myself, okay, if I meet the right person, I will be the right person.
His final year art project at college is the story of his journey. He says Teresa and Stuart bought him the brush, gave him the canvas.